All right, last story. And that's how I've been able to become a successful UX designer in this new career because of... What's up everyone? This is Wesley, UX designer, and welcome back to my channel. Now for today's video, I want to address and answer a series of questions that I get asked on a consistent basis from my family members to my friends and even from you guys from this channel. And those questions are:
Wesley, how did you transition so smoothly from a non-UX job to becoming a UX designer?
Wesley, how did you land your first UX job so quickly after your bootcamp?
Wesley, how have you worked for such big, well-known companies in your first 4 years as a UX designer?
How did you do it?
What's your secret?
Now, in order for me to answer these questions, I really had to ask myself, is there really an answer, secret, or formula that I can give you guys in order for you guys to be successful, whether it's in UX or not? So after doing some thinking, I think I do have an answer for you guys, which I would love to share on this video. All right, so are you guys ready? So here's my secret. I need a little drum roll. I've been able to become a successful UX designer in this new career because of luck. Now, I'm not joking, you guys. I do really believe that luck played a huge factor for me when transitioning into UX design and landing the jobs that I had. Now, if you don't remember my backstory, I decided to quit my non-UX design job back in 2017 in order to pursue UX design full-time through a boot camp. Was able to land my first job 3 months after the boot camp, and I've been able to work for pretty big, well-known companies so far. And people can look at my journey and career and say,
Wesley, you're so lucky.
Now, what I really want you guys to get out of this point is that sometimes I think that we think that only certain people can be lucky and that luck is outside of our circle of influence. But I believe that anyone can attract and increase their luck. Now, I don't know if the name Ray Kroc rings a bell with you guys, but he was McDonald's first CEO, and he had this really amazing quote about luck that I really resonated with, and that quote is, "Luck is a dividend of sweat. The more you sweat, the luckier you get." So what does that mean? To me, it means you can increase your luck by working harder and thinking smarter. So if I had to pinpoint the specific work that I poured my blood, sweat, and tears into, that would be networking. And networking is the real answer and formula and secret to my success so far. So yes, networking is the main factor that has helped me to transition into this new career and be successful working at all these different companies and being able to land my jobs. It honestly also helps that I'm an extrovert and a people person because I genuinely enjoy meeting new people and getting to know them. So putting myself out there in front of people, it really feels natural for me, and it definitely does help when it comes to my networking skills. So with that being said, here are 3 ways that I used luck and networking to help me land my first 3 jobs as a UX designer. What's up guys? Thanks for letting me interrupt in the middle of this video really quickly, but I was just editing my video right now, and I think I want to say a couple more things, just so that there isn't any misunderstanding and I don't get flamed in the comment sections. So number 1, I'm not here to insinuate or say that you need to work for a big well-known company in order to be successful in your career. Sometimes working for a big company actually sucks and it might not be the best experience. For example, my second job as a UX designer, the most recent job that I quit, it wasn't the best experience. And I'm sure we've all heard of plenty of horror stories from people who've worked at big companies, more specifically the FAANG companies like Amazon and Facebook. So for some people, an agency or startup might be a better fit. For others, it might be working as an in-house designer for one of the big corporate companies. To each its own. The only thing that I will say is that by getting the chance to work for a well-known company, it does come with a certain amount of prestige, credibility, and public image, at least from my experience and what I've seen from others. And to me, that's just a fact, whether you want that attention or not. And with that higher level of attention, it might make your life a little bit easier. It might make it easier for people to get their eyes on you when it comes to applying for jobs, etc., and stuff like that. Number 2, the word successful is very subjective to each person. So I'm not here to say that it's my way or the highway, or that you have to do everything the way that I did in order to be considered successful. What I really want you guys to get out of this video is that networking is a very powerful tool and it can get you anywhere. As I mentioned earlier, it can increase your luck, it can put you in better position and take you very far in your career. And I hope that my story and experience helps you guys understand that a little bit better. So that's all I really wanted to say. Just wanted to make sure I put that out there. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video, and let's get back to the main video. Peace out. So for the first job that I landed, it was because of LinkedIn networking and cold messaging. Back in 2018, I just finished my UX bootcamp program, and I was in the same position as you guys where I was just in straight desperation mode looking for my first UX design job. And obviously it was just super overwhelming and crazy and stressful all at the same time. After I finished working on my portfolio and resume, I started applying to as many jobs as I could. After a certain point where I was getting no emails back, no responses from the job applications, I decided I needed to switch things up and try something different. And then I remembered informational interviews and learning about them in my bootcamp. If you don't know what those are, informational interviews are informal conversations that you may have with someone who may be working in a specific industry, company, or career that you're particularly interested in. So what it really is, you're interviewing someone for information basically. The reason why I decided to switch things up and go with the informational interview route was to gather more information about the companies that I could see myself working in. And through that, I could learn a little bit more about the company culture, what the UX design team is like, maybe get some idea of what the interview process would be like as well, and just see if the company can be a right fit for me. So when I first saw that there were junior UX designer positions open at the company, I didn't apply to them right away. Instead, I decided to go with the informational interviews and see if I could get some sort of inside scoop. So what I decided to do was cold message people on LinkedIn, which is more commonly known as cold calling. Now, cold messaging or cold calling someone, it can be very brutal, you guys. It can really bruise your ego, your emotional health, your mental health, just because it is awkward, scary, painful, especially when you're just straight up ignored or you just get rejected. Basically, you kind of have to be lucky when it comes to having someone actually respond back and that wants to talk to you. Now, even as an extrovert and a people person, that stuff can still be very painful for me. I could have easily been in the position where I could have said, hell no, I am not gonna cold message someone and they get rejected and then feel like crap. But after a certain point, I said, screw rejection. At this point, I got rejected 50 times already through 50 different job applications. What is one more rejection gonna do to me? So at this point, I guess you could say I really had a no F's given attitude. And that's what you probably need in order for yourself to really put yourself out there and do things like a cold messaging or cold calling someone that you don't know. So I cold messaged 4 UX designers, 3 who were currently working at the company, and 1 who was a former designer there. I basically messaged all of them for an informational interview, wanting to know more about their experience as a UX designer and working for that particular company. Luckily, the former designer of the company actually responded back to my message and graciously offered her time to speak with me. We had a great 30-minute conversation. I came prepared with a lot of different questions about her experience working as a UX designer and asking some questions around the company as well during her time there. Now, I didn't go into this call expecting a referral or a job at all, because that just kind of defeats the purpose of an informational interview. The only thing that I mentioned in the cold message was that this was a company that I was hoping to work for, and at the end of the interview, I mentioned that, hey, I could see this company being a great fit for me as well. Once the call ended, I got what I wanted out of the interview, which is understanding the company more than I did before. But if you get lucky and if the vibe is right, you could possibly get a job referral. At the end of the call, the person that I interviewed decided to go out of her way to refer me to the UX director who was currently working at the company. And from there, I had my first interview with the UX director directly, and the rest is history. So, moral of the story. Yes, informational interviews can be very informative and helpful for you, especially when it comes to understanding which companies you want to apply for and getting some inside level scoop and knowledge. And yes, cold messaging someone can work as well as long as you're willing to put yourself out there. And yes, even in more rare circumstances, these calls can lead to a job referral if they're willing to give you one. I'm actually gonna do another video about informational interviews soon. It's gonna be more updated than the original video that I posted, so be on the lookout for that. All right, let's talk about the second job now. So I got the second job due to my personal networking, which means networking within your own social circle and through your friends. I actually had a couple of UX design friends who were working at the company for several years. Over the first 2 years of being a UX designer, I continually kept in contact with them, just picking their brain, asking them about their current experience, and just seeing if that company could be a great fit for me later down the line. And through those friend connections, they were able to connect me with people at the company that I really didn't know. One time, through a creative networking event in Atlanta, one of my friends introduced me to a UX manager who I kept in frequent contact with as I continued to learn more about the company from his perspective. And then another time that I visited Atlanta, that same friend gave me an office tour of the company so that way I could just take a look at the headquarters, see what it's all about. And even through that opportunity, I was able to connect with other UX designer and managers throughout that tour. So by the time that I actually applied for the company, I knew several people within the UX team. My name was also kind of passed around to the point where they knew who I was and they knew that I had a really high interest in the company. And also my friend was able to give me a job referral for one of the open positions there. And that's how I use my personal networking to get the inside scoop of the company from current employees, how I was able to connect with other people that I didn't know at the company, and also how I got a bit of advantage into the job interview, knowing that I had a job referral and I had some small idea of what the job interview process was going to be like as well. Now, to those friends who helped me throughout that entire time, helping me to understand the company and helping me to get the job, if you're watching this, you know who you are, and thank you. All right, last story. And that's how I was able to land my current job by showcasing my skills, talents, and passion. Now, you may be asking yourself, Wesley, what does showcasing your skills or your passion have anything to do with networking? There is one thing that I think people don't talk too much about when it comes to networking is your own personal branding. Kind of showcasing and sharing with people who you really are as a professional and as a human being and person, which I think you can do that by being able to showcase your skills, your passions, or your talents in different ways. LinkedIn is actually the perfect example of what I'm talking about. Because if you go to the main page and you look at the main feed, you'll see someone sharing their portfolio website, talking about one of their most recent accomplishments, sharing one of the articles that they've written as well. And that's something I was able to do as well by sharing some of my YouTube videos and some of the articles that I was featured in. Not only do I share with them what I'm like as a UX designer, but I can also share with them my personal life, my personality, some of the other creative outlets that I do on the side, and just showing them who I am just outside of the work, which I think can be beneficial and helpful. And that's something that I've been doing on LinkedIn for a while now, over the past couple years or so. So when I went through my first interview with my UX manager, he was actually the one that mentioned my YouTube channel and some of the articles that I was featured in. I was actually blown away and surprised that someone did such an extensive deep dive into my career, my passion, and my personal life. Not only did I feel grateful, but I was also actually very impressed on their end, because usually it's vice versa, where you're the person that's doing more of the research into the company, the people that you might be getting interviewed by, and you're doing more of the work by putting yourself out there, I guess you could say. But I felt like that manager did the same on his hand, where he definitely went out of his way to look into who I was. So for me, I could tell that there was equal interest from both sides, which is a really good sign when you're applying for a job and if you ever notice that. So the 30-minute interview that we scheduled ended up turning into 1 hour, where we just not only talked about my skills and experience as a UX designer, we also talked a lot about my YouTube channel and some of my personal life. The interview overall, it honestly just felt like we were just having a normal conversation. And that, to me, my friend, is a good sign. So by showcasing my passion on a networking platform like LinkedIn, I think it really helped my manager understand who I really was early on. So that way it kind of built a better connection and conversation as the interview process went along. So to be honest, I'm still blown away and super thankful that my YouTube channel was a main factor in the job interview. If my current UX manager is watching this for the 100th time, thank you so much for the interview. It was definitely one of the most memorable interviews I've ever went through in my entire career. So those are the 3 ways that I use luck and networking to help me land my first 3 jobs as a UX designer. I hope this was super informative and helpful for you guys. And by sharing my story and my experience, I hope that you guys can also increase your luck and use networking to your advantage. Let me know what you guys think about networking. How have you used it to your advantage? Do you think it's challenging for you? If so, how? Share us your thoughts and your opinions, and let's all have a conversation together and help each other out. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please be on the lookout for more, and I really do appreciate your support as of lately. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.